Welcome to today's episode in our Advent series. We'll be looking at God's blessing. Are God's people enjoying God's blessing? Are they living in His land? Are they enjoying God's rule? We at the story in the Bible in 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 8 all the way to 16. We'll be looking at this king who is settled. The king that the Lord has appointed, the Lord has raised him up, and now he's living in God's kingdom, enjoying God's blessing together with all his people. And how do we see these blessings in his kingdom? Is that God's people have rested from all their enemies. But the Lord comes again to reassure them of his promise that will be fulfilled, that his kingdom will reign forever. He will have an offspring that will sit in this throne forever. The Lord is actually speaking to David on how this kingdom will look like. But have they been fully fulfilled at this particular time? We find that this offspring who comes immediately is Solomon. Solomon builds a house. He's established in his father's throne. But one thing is that he dies and he no longer lives. That means the Lord was speaking of a different person, an heir who will come way later. And we see this, that Jesus Christ came. He was born, he lived, he died on the cross. But one thing remains to be true. He rose again, and now he lives forever. And he is seated on the throne of his father David, and he is ruling forever. Well, God's people are rested from their enemies a bit for a short period of time, and we see them being carried away to exile, being afflicted by God's enemy because of sin. But Jesus has promised us a kingdom when he comes again, that this kingdom will have no more sin, will have rested from everything, sin being the biggest thing that man will rest from, which is God's biggest enemy. Friends, we can look at this Jesus who makes this season to be important because of what he has done, because of the fulfillment of this promise that we see in Christ. Friends, we can believe in Jesus because he is the true King who gives rest, true rest. He settles us in his kingdom forever. He will give us his true blessing, which is the fight against sin being once and forever dealt with. Thank you.